Hey guys, Eddie here, coach of the recently rebranded Portland Pichus. So apparently there is a lot of hype for my match against the Long Beach Cinderaces this week. And I feel like that deserves a little team preview to give you guys an idea of what's going on in this crazy gay head of mine. So looking at his team, he has a lot of threatening Pokemon in his team. He has some really fast attackers like Espeon, Scyther, and of course the infamous Cinderace. Those three Pokemon are big threats by themselves. Espeon, it has that, I forget what it's called, that Magic Reflect or Magic Bounce ability. Scyther, just super fast, Technician hits hard. Cinderace, just crazy powerful and crazy fast. And then he also has some really great defensive pivots. He has the really annoying Weezings, he has the Milotic, and he has the Gothitelle, which I need to be careful in case he decides to bring it with its Shadow Tag ability. And he also has the Trevenant Pokemon, which hits hard. It's a little slow, but if it sets up a Trick Room, that can be very problematic for me. So if you look at our team side by side, his team is a little more attractive than mine. I'll just leave it at that. I have Pokemon like Slurpuff, Meowstic, and Coughing, and he has like solid S tier Pokemon in his team. So yeah, his team is a bit more attractive than mine. I'm not gonna lie, I did put a lot of prep into this match because I feel like I'm just gonna need to play a lot more defensively than I usually do. So this week, I decided to leave Meowstic on the bench. I feel like he isn't going to do much for me this week, which is okay. I'll definitely be using him hopefully next week or the week after. We'll see. But for this week, I think I'm pretty dead set on leading with Zoro, disguised as Darmanitan, as Daruma. So my plan is to lead with Darmanitan, instantly tricking him into thinking that I'm going to lead with an offensive Pokemon right off the bat, and hopefully he'll fall for it. I'm not too sure, but hopefully what the plan is he'll see Darmanitan, and that will want him to pivot into his defensive Weezing, and then I should be able to hopefully get a one-hit KO if I'm lucky. If not, it should be a solid 2-hit KO with the extra sensory. So my Zoro is my answer to the Weezing. I should be able to take it out with 2 hits, and then Dark Pulse can easily take out the Gothitelle and the Espeon with 1 hit, and U-Turn is just there in case he decides to Shadow Tag me with the Gothitelle. I can just easily get out. Grass Knot is there for the Milotic. In my preparation, I prepped heavily against a Shadow Tag Gothitelle, but now looking at my team and compared to his team, I feel like he's going to bring in the Milotic. So Grass Knot is just one answer to that. I'm really hoping Zoro lives long enough to get some good damage on his team, but it's pretty frail. So my hope for Zoro is that I can put a good solid amount of damage on his team. Next up, I have my favorite little essential worker during this pandemic, Miss Blissey. She is going to be my special defense sponge against his Espeon, his Gothitelle, probably his Weezing, and his Milotic. I'm running Copycat because I have the feeling if he brings out Espeon, I'll pivot into Blissey. And he will most likely be running the Magic Bounce ability, so Toxic and Thunder Wave aren't going to do anything to it. So he's probably going to take advantage of that by setting up some screens like Reflect or Light Screen. So I'm bringing Copycat to utilize that Reflect and Light Screen that he might potentially set up. I'm not too confident in bringing Copycat. I might change it to like Tri Attack or something, but I'm not too sure. That Magic Bounce is really annoying, and it's really discouraging me from running Thunder Wave or Toxic on Blissey. So for now, I think I'm just going to keep the Copycat and hope for the best. Aromatherapy is there in case any of my Pokemon get poisoned by Weezing's Toxic Spikes or any other statuses. Seismic Toss is just, generic, and so is Soft Boiled, but Blissey is in it for the long haul. She should be taking up a lot of hits for me, and hopefully she does me good this week. Next up, we have our recently added team member, Dusknor, aka Chestnut. So Dusknor, he's kind of like a tank. He has really high defense and special defense, obviously. His HP kind of sucks and his speed really sucks. But, you know, Choice Banded Dusknor can be a threat, especially with the new DLC move Poltergeist. So he's mostly just here for some Choice Banded hits. I know a Choice Banded Shadow Tag can take out the Espeon and I think the Trevenant in one hit. And if not, if he decides to pivot, whatever he will be pivoting to will be taking a really hard hit on, doesn't matter what it is. Thunder Punch is just there for coverage for a potential Milotic matchup, and Brick Break is just there not only for Dynamaxing to get an attack boost, but also in case he decides to set up screens with the Espeon. Next up is the villain of the season, my little favorite dessert tiramisu, Miss Slurpuff. I'm not gonna lie, I had a lot of trouble deciding what kind of set I want to bring this week with Slurpuff. Originally, you know, I was thinking an Unburden, Cotton Guard, Calm Mind set, but that Cinderace and that Weezing is just really scary. And then it just wouldn't have worked. And then I considered running Sticky Webs, but if he decides to bring a competitive Milotic or a competitive Gothitelle, that would just boost their special attack. So that didn't work. And then I considered bringing a Belly Drum Slurpuff, but I don't think I would be lucky enough to set up a Belly Drum in the face of like a Cinderace or a Weezing or anything else. So I think this is my best bet. So the plan with this is if he decides to Dynamax with Cinderace, he knocks out one of my Pokemon, I'll bring in Slurpuff, I'll Protect to bait an Iron Head or a D-Max Iron Head, a Max Steel Spike, and that will activate my weakness policy and activate my Unburden, and then I should, in theory, I should be able to outspeed a Cinderace, unless it's Choice Scarf. I'm hoping it's not. And then since he will be a Steel type from the Iron Head move, I should be able to knock it out with a Flamethrower, but that's a big iffy scenario, and I'm not going to try to rely on it, but it's just there, kind of like as a last resort. I'm also running Dazzling Gleam for stab and Thunderbolt for coverage. Flamethrower is just there by the off chance that I can bait Cinderace, Cinderace, however you pronounce it, into changing to a Steel type, and then Flamethrower would obviously be super effective. But I don't know, I'm not too confident on this Slurpuff set. I might change it last minute, but for now this is what I'm going with, and I hope it does me good. Next up I have Daruma. I'm bringing the fire type version this week because looking at his team, I feel like the ice typing doesn't really do much for me. I rather just have the stab and the flare blitz. And then I'm also running Zen Headbutt just for a potential Weezing matchup. That way I can at least get, you know, some kind of super effective hit, even though it would still outlive it because it's really bulky. I'm running Facade by the off chance that he manages to set up some Toxic Spikes or I get statused or something. And then U-Turn just for U-Turn. I feel like U-Turn is pretty common on any Darmanitan set. And lastly, I want to say this is my trump card, but I don't want to put too much faith into it. I am bringing a Coughing this week. I dropped Cincino for Coughing, and the reason why is because I really, really needed a defensive pivot. Dusknor, yes, he is tanky, but his HP is pathetic. And I needed something that can not only take a couple of hits from the Cinderace, but also from a Scyther and the Trevenant. And looking at the free agency list, I had 3 Pokemon in mind before I settled on Coughing, and that was Mantike. Mantike is surprisingly super specially defensive, so it would not only be able to deal with Gothitelle, Espeon, and Milotic, but with an Eviolite, it would have been able to easily tank any type of hit from Cinderace and Scyther. But the reason I didn't go with it is it doesn't learn defog. So I feel like Toxic Spikes is going to be a problem in this match. So that led me to look at potential poison types and defoggers. Another Pokemon I was considering was Togetic. Togetic is incredibly bulky and has an amazing move pull. And it's, like I said, it's incredibly bulky, especially with an Eviolite, and it knows defog. And it's a flying type, so it wouldn't be able to get poisoned from Toxic Spikes. So it'd be a great answer to Scyther, Espeon, Gothitelle, Milotic, maybe Weezing, but unfortunately it's not bulky enough, even with an Eviolite and enough defense investment, to take a hit from a Cinderace's Iron Head. It would only be able to take 2. So I didn't go with Togetic. I really wanted to, but I already had a Fairy type on my team with Slurpuff. So the other Pokemon I was deciding was Mareanie. Mareanie is a water poison type, so it should, in theory, be able to clear any Toxic Spikes from a Weezing, and it should definitely, easily take a couple of hits from a Cinderace. But the problem with Mareanie is that he has 2 Psychic types on his team that are really fast. And if he, for some reason, if he decides to bring in a Gothitelle with Shadow Tag on my Mareanie, then it's over. Mareanie would not be able to pivot out, and it would just go down really fast from any type of Psychic attack, even with an Eviolite. And then I would have to deal with Cinderace without my defensive pivot. And I was debating between these 3 Pokemon, and then I saw Coughing. I remember that Retapod had Coughing for a week, and it did him really, really great against his matchup. It's just incredibly defensive, incredibly bulky. It's a poison type, so it'd be able to soak up any Toxic Spikes. And not only that, its neutralizing gas ability is amazing. It'll be able to stop Cinderace's hidden ability in its tracks. So if I manage to catch it when it's not a fire type, I can Will-O-Wisp it. Shadow Tag wouldn't affect me because of neutralizing gas, so I'd be able to pivot out really easily. I could set up my own Toxic Spikes if I want to, but I'm bringing Toxic instead. And the other thing is that neutralizing gas will stop Espeon's Magic Bounce from working. At least I hope it will. I haven't tested it out. I'm pretty sure it will, so I should be able to Toxic it or Will-O-Wisp it in case he decides to pivot into it, thinking his Magic Bounce will work, but I don't think it will. So yeah, Coughing is going to be my trump card. I want to say I hope it does me really, really well this week. I'm going to be relying on it a lot because, like I said in the beginning of this recording, I'm going to need to play a lot more defensively than I usually do. So yeah, hopefully it's a good match. Hopefully I win, of course. But if the most important thing is, I just really hope it's a good match. I don't care if I lose as long as I can put up a good fight. I know this match is going to be streamed, so I want it to be somewhat entertaining. So yeah, good luck to my opponent. He's definitely one of the better players this season. He has a really good track record. And good luck to myself because I really want to keep winning. Yeah, and thanks you guys for watching, and catch us during the match or during the live stream.